got to start small and build your blocks and build your knowledge. And that's why I say that diets don't work, because it's about longevity and how you're going to make it last. Like,
Hey Rach, how are you feeling today?
good. How are you feeling?
I'm fantastic. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, you're somebody who I wanted on here because, obviously between like training and stuff, I think your story is really cool as far as like what you've been through with like your personal life and then how it led to your career and just like, being an awesome person overall.
Thank you.
So, like how are you feeling? How's your 2020 going? Like how are things?
Well, I mean, 2020 is going as good as 2020 can go. I think with this whole COVID thing, like, you have this newfound stress and anxiety centered around COVID. So it's totally different than just like regular anxiety that people deal with. Now you have like this COVID anxiety. Like, am I safe in Target? Because I love Target. Like, I don't know. So I'm just trying to deal with that, just like everyone else, along with regular life stuff.
And with your school stuff, because you graduated last year or this year?
I graduated in May, and then so I graduated in May with the Bachelor's of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics, and then in May right away we started with grad school. So I've taken 2 grad classes already, and then I started my dietetic internship in September.
Awesome. With Sherry. Shout out
Yeah,
to Sherry. Tell her I
love.
said hi next time I see her.
Yes, I will.
So with with you wanting to be going into dietetic and nutrition, um, like what, oh my gosh, 'cause when you came up like to what you wanted to do like in school and stuff, like what kind of brought you to where you wanted to be as far as like what made you want to pick that path? I know why, but it's a good story.
Okay, so growing up, always chunky, always overweight, but like never really felt like I didn't fit in, but knew that I was like overweight, and not necessarily like unhealthy, because my mom has always been on a diet. Like, it's just part of life for us. So I was, as a kid, on Weight Watchers or LA Weight Loss, or I was always counting points, always reading nutrition labels. So, I mean, my first bachelor's degree is in communication studies. When I went to graduate with that, I was told that I needed 3 more electives. So I took those electives and I studied abroad in Florence, Italy. And before I left for Italy, I was talking to Sherry because in 2012, I had a gastric sleeve, which is where they give you like a 5-ounce pouch. So they cut out half of your stomach, leave you with a 5-ounce pouch. So you're restricted on what you can intake. So the reason why I had weight loss surgery, to just kind of go backwards, my bad. The reason why I had weight loss surgery was because I was always trying a new diet, always trying to lose weight. And at my heaviest, I was 300 pounds and nothing was working for me. Like South Beach diet, just eating vegetables, just cutting out carbs, nothing was working. So I was at my wit's end and decided to have weight loss surgery in 2012. And I worked with Sherry leading up to the surgery, after surgery. She was amazing, taught me so many things. So when I went to study abroad, I had to meet with her because this lady is like my lifeline. How am I going to take her abroad with me? So I asked her, I'm like, Sherry, like, just give me some pointers. Like, how am I going to stay focused? How am I going to do a good job in Italy, but like also enjoy myself? So we get to talking in her office and she's like, Rach, I really feel like you would be a great dietitian. Like, is this something that you would be like interested in? Because I can see the spark when you talk about helping other people and helping people change their lives for the better. And so I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I think I do love this. I love food. I love people. and I love to hear myself talk. So I hope people love to hear me talk.
Me too. That's why I have a podcast.
So I was like, you know what? I think I'll do this. So before I left to study abroad, I set it all up that when I came home, I would just jump right in to get the bachelor's in nutrition and dietetics. So kind of my story was had weight loss surgery. It changed my life for the better. It was an ongoing learning process, and I'm still learning till this day. But I wanted to share like my education and my love for the journey with other people, because I think sometimes people don't understand you're on this journey. It's not, there's no end point. Like, there is no end. You're living this life. So you want to make it the best life possible for yourself and the best quality of life. So, like, sorry to go off on a tangent.
No. That's fact. That's what I say every day. So keep talking. I'm happy you're saying this.
So, I mean, like, I don't like diets that restrict. I think diets, whole culture of diet, what? Like, what is a diet? To me, a diet is a way of life, like a healthy lifestyle. That's a diet. Like, you wake up, you eat healthy, you fuel your body. You don't want to wake up like, oh, I can't have this English muffin because it's 200 calories. Like, where do we get that mindset? So to bring it together, I just want to help educate people to live their best lives.
And I think that's the best way to go about it. I feel like a lot of time people kind of relate their diet too much. Like the diet itself is just such like a I can't do thing kind of mindset. And the people are like, oh man, I'm either on the diet or I'm off the diet. If I'm not on the diet, I'm just dead and I can't do anything. But in reality, it's like, it's really not that fucking serious. Like
Right.
you can pick how you want to eat today. If you want to eat a little more vegetables, a little more turkey, whatever floats your food boat, you can eat like that. And then like, let's say you decide to eat something that you shouldn't have eaten, something that you didn't want to eat. I had a cookie today or whatever. And like, oh my God, like it's not like nothing changes. You're not going to get fired from life if you ate a cookie today. Like there's nothing going to end. Like it's okay. You can get back on the horse tomorrow and go back to what you're doing. And that's one of the biggest things I just don't, I want to try to get people to kind of understand is that like, it is a journey, it is a process. And you're going to have times where you don't do it. You're going to eat less healthy than you would normally. But at the same time, like nothing changes. Like if you didn't sleep one day, you would just sleep more the next day.
Right. Like,
But
the food police isn't going to pop down on my shoulder and be like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, it's not a thing.
they're busting through the windows like, get over here, put down the cookie, put down the cookie.
Exactly. And I think the restriction thing is like, food doesn't have a moral value. Like, there's no good or bad food. There might be good or bad food in a sense of how it works in your body and how it makes you feel. But like, you can't put a slice of bread in jail. Like, it doesn't, that's not how it works.
I like that a lot. You can't put a slice of bread in jail. That's good. So do you remember what Sherry told you on the trip? Like, what was her advice? Do you remember exactly what she said?
She was like, stick to the basics, stick with what you know. Like, you know how to make a healthy plate, which is like such a good basic rule. You know that with every meal, you want to have a fruit, a vegetable, a grain or a starch, and a protein. And you just want to make sure whatever you're eating is going to fuel you. But obviously treat yourself because you're living in Italy and they have the most amazing pasta in the world. So it was always like, just stick with what you know and you know how to eat. But I also, we brought like attention to like healthy snacks, because obviously like Europe is different. Italy is totally different. So their grocery stores are not like what's in America. And I think I found it easier to find healthy snacks in Europe because the food there is amazing and so fresh. So I was always snacking on like fresh mozzarella cheese and like fresh vegetables and nuts and good wine, but that wasn't a snack. That was part of the beverages.
Sounds like a great time. So with you helping out Sherry now, actually, what I do want to talk about first is what like as far as what is your thought process as far as like for yourself, healthy eating? And then what are some things you kind of what are like the staples you try to help? If someone came up to you and was like, all right, what is healthy eating to you? Like, how do I find healthy eating to myself? What is that process like to you? What's that thought process like?
So when I try to explain it to people, like what healthy eating is, I like to think of it as like fresh is best, first and foremost. So you want to center your plate or just like center your meals around fresh ingredients and like what's going to taste the best. So like, let me think about this for a second.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a second to think. I'll rant for a little bit longer. Because to me, what I try to with what I try to help people understand, like these are the basics. Just like you try to get some kind of uh, you want to have you want to have you want to have a protein source. You want to have a carb and a vegetable, typically for most of your meals. Now, the thing is that I feel like most people just don't think about what they are actually like. They think about it. They think about it too restrictively and not enough of like. To me, food is kind of like clothing. Like there's certain things that go well together, but it depends on what scenario you're getting ready for. You know, the meal you eat on a day to day is not the same the meal you're going to eat if you're going to do a race or if you're going to do, you're going to go to school or you're going to a party. So if you had for your day to day, like my typical thing is like good carb, vegetable, and protein source. So if you like salmon, some kind of quinoa rice and like asparagus, that's like a very simple,
Yeah.
clean meal. Preferably you'd want to eat something that is like more real, the better. The closer it is to its regular state, the better. Like not a lot of processing and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, but that's like as far as like my baseline for what I try to get people to do. Because there's a lot of things that are just not there's a lot of circumstances that people are just there are a lot of different things that it's not one size fit all that a lot of
Right.
people want. But as far as like principles, I feel like that's probably the best way I would go. That's where I just take most people with anything. But what are yours? Or do you get enough time to think?
Yeah. Okay. So like my motto is there is no one size fits all when it comes to if we want to call it diet, like the quote unquote diet. Like what I might eat is different from what you might eat on a daily basis and like how it fits in my body versus how it fits in yours and how it acts. So, but like you said, like my focus is getting in like a variety at each meal. So you want that plate to be half vegetables, half fruit, and then a quarter of that plate protein, and then another quarter of that plate a grain or a starch. But I think when you're just talking to like the average Joe on the street, it's very overwhelming when you say, whoa, 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 like your diet isn't quote unquote healthy. So it's really just starting with those basics like, do you eat fruit? Do you include vegetables in your day? Like kind of just starting off and like seeing what they do eat versus what they don't. Because I think people have a hard time. They hear this word health and they're like, okay, so that means I have to eat kale, boiled chicken, and brown rice.
Every
Like,
single day.
no, like it's so much fancier than that. Like, get excited. Like, to me, healthy eating is exciting. Like, there's so much you can do and it's healthy because of the ingredients. It's not like to me, yes, I look at food labels, but when I'm eating like if I'm making dinner and I'm eating like chicken, vegetable, and like a grain, I'm looking at like the protein source because it's not like that's minimal processing. So if I'm using chicken breast, like, okay, we know that's chicken. If I'm using vegetables, we know that like those green beans came from a farm. Like it's just starting small and like less processed and getting it to fuel you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
something
Mm-hmm.
like
So starting small, less process, I think is definitely something super encouraged, you know. Um, and I think that because the biggest issue with it is that people, like, no matter what, I feel like people are always thinking about what is healthy, like what is healthy all the way. Now it's also based on what you are. what you're eating yourself, like, what your goal is and where you are within that process. For instance, like a good protein source is always going to be something that you want to shoot for, because protein does so many things inside your body. So I feel like you can't go wrong with a protein source, and you can't go wrong with a vegetable, because most of the green vegetables are something I always put a cosign on them. So it's kale, asparagus, spinach, arugula. Like Sherry said arugula one time in a video, but I still haven't actually personally tried it yet, but I take Sherry's word for it.
Need arugula. It's like this peppery, yummy lettuce. It's
Do I eat it
good.
like with lettuce? Like, what do I do with it?
Yeah, put it in a salad, make a chicken cutlet, put it on top of the chicken with like a little olive oil, squeeze a lemon, Parmesan cheese.
Oh, there we go. See, now you got the meal. So what's one of your favorite meals to make?
Dinner. But like I don't have a specific meal. I just love to make dinner.
Well, then what's like the one you made last that was good?
Okay, so actually last night, this is such a great recipe too, because everyone loves Trader Joe's. Like I could even tell through the pandemic that people are like Trader Joe's all the way, Trader Joe's obsessed. So, but you could find this stuff anywhere. So you take chicken cutlets and like cut them into tenders and then put them in a bowl, marinate them in Dijon mustard. And then I marinated them from like all day because I was like working virtually. So then probably like 5 to 6 hours. So then you take the chicken out of the bowl, you get panko breadcrumbs, and then everything but the bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's, or I think they sell it anywhere. So you leave the mustard on the chicken. It like really tenderizes it. Then you're going to dip it in the panko and then put on a baking sheet lined with foil and then sprinkle it with everything but the bagel seasoning. And then I put it in the air fryer. So it's like a healthy chicken tender. Like people love chicken nuggets and chicken tenders.
They do.
So we had that. And then paired with that, we did Parmesan couscous, which, you just buy couscous at the store, great grain, delicious source of carbohydrates. And then we paired that with sauteed green beans.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you recommend would you, I don't have an air fryer yet. Is that something you use pretty often, you think?
Yes. Okay, so my air fryer is like a toaster oven. So it's a toaster oven, convection oven, and an air fryer.
Shit.
So you can like bake cookies in it, but you can also fry chicken in it.
Oh shit.
I roast vegetables in there. We cook
bad.
chicken. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah,
like I highly suggest getting an air fryer.
Okay. Yeah, I might add that to the list. So are you also like doing some of the virtual stuff with Sherry for the clients, or like are you just more watching?
Yeah, so like I'm seeing patients with her. Like I'm on Zoom with her, seeing patients, doing like the nutrition intake and stuff.
That's awesome. So
Yes.
so when someone new comes to you, like what's like the assessment that like someone could use? All right, so if someone came to you from the street, Joe Schmo, Mr. Joe Schmo, he came up and he was like, hey, like, I just wanted to think about what I'm trying to take my steps in myself in steps in like a healthier direction. What questions would you have him ask himself to determine determine where he is on like the spectrum of, eating the best to not eating the best?
I think the first, I get what you're saying. I feel like the first thing I would ask him, I'd be like, Joe, how do you feel after each meal? Because if you're eating semi-good, you're going to be like, I feel good. I feel energized. Like, or if you're not eating that great, you're going to be like, I feel okay, but I'm a little hungry within an hour and I could use a nap. So I feel like you can really tell, like.
That's really good.
Right? Because people don't know, like, then I'm not really assessing your diet. I'm assessing how your diet makes you feel. Because I think like going back to the restriction and stuff, when people hear the word healthy eating and diet, they automatically think to cut out their carbs. And I think
Yeah.
we like thank the media for that
Oh,
and all this
disgusting.
marketing madness around keto. And I think there was a time and place for certain restrictions and certain diets. And that's why we have dietitians, because there are so many different kinds that a keto diet can help someone who is epileptic and has seizures. Keto for an average adult, I don't know. It depends. So like diets aren't one size fit all, like you said. But anyway, going back to Joe Schmo on the corner, I need to know how his meals make him feel.
Okay, so one is, how do your meals make you feel? Do you feel hungry afterwards? Are you tired? That's like the first question you would ask and kind of determine. What's the second thing you would ask them?
I'd be like, how many meals a day are you eating? Because we know we kind of want to do 5 to 6 mini meals a day. So those are like your lunch, your breakfast, your snacks in between, and your dinner. And that's like a great way to get in all your nutrients and all your food groups for a whole day. But if Joe goes, well, I wake up and I get an extra large iced coffee with 6 pumps of sugar and a donut, and then he doesn't eat again until dinner, well, no wonder he's sleepy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Nothing else going through. Okay. Okay, that's good. So the second one is, how many meals did you eat? And you're a fan of the smaller meals throughout the day?
I think it depends on your
Depends who
hunger.
you are.
Yeah. And like what you do as your job. I mean, like sitting at home working virtually, am I hungry enough to eat 6 meals a day? Not really. But it depends. Some days I wake up and I'm hungrier than other days. So it
Yeah,
depends.
it does depend. Just from like the training aspect of things, how I ask some of these questions, it usually goes with similar things like, what do you do throughout the day? So if you're trying to determine what you're trying to do, if you're trying to determine, healthy eating for yourself, I think these are just some really good tips. Like definitely the first off is, how does it make you feel? Like that was brilliant. What do you feel after? How do you feel after you eat it? The second thing, how often are you eating? I think that's another great one. That's very true. Third being like, what do you do throughout the day? That's also very important to see, because you're going to be hungry the more you move. Like a lot of people come train with me and it's like, I didn't eat anything today, and I'm like, what do you think you're going to do? Like, you're not going to, like, this is not the time to come here with nothing. How do you feel? How do you feel about fasting? I know I don't need like a full definitive thing about it, just like an overall concept to you. How do you feel about that? If someone wanted to go about, because for the mental aspect, I don't mind people doing fasting for mental aspect. If they want to try, okay, I like doing this because I want to see if I can not eat for this long, but then eat dinner. Like doing it in a healthy way, to me, I'm always cool with. Okay, it's like a test. I can try doing this, see if I can push myself to not eat during this time, because it's like mentally it's gonna give me some kind of Zen thing. I'm cool with that. I don't like people fasting because, hey, like, I want to lose weight in 2 weeks. I'm not going to eat anything. That's not the place where we need to be. Um, what are some of your thoughts on it? What are some of the situations you think, with your knowledge, that you feel that people can improve with, that they use it for the right ways and they use it for the wrong ways?
I feel like my knowledge on intermittent fasting like isn't the best, because it's just something that I don't really believe in. But so I can't like
Okay.
knowledgeably talk about it, but from like an athlete's perspective, I can like understand to a certain extent why they like intermittent fasting. But I think from like an average person's standpoint, you don't need to fast. Like your body works the correct way for a reason. If we're talking fasting, like, okay, no, I'm not going to snack after 9 p.m. just because I don't like to go to bed with a full stomach. And then I'm not going to eat until I get to work, like at 8 a.m. Like, okay, I can get behind that. But the other stuff, I don't really know.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
So, I mean, the holidays are coming up. We got Halloween and then my all-time favorite, Thanksgiving. So I need to know, are you going to be blessing the East Coast with your presents?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I will be home for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is actually a great holiday. And so, what are your thoughts on Thanksgiving? What are your Thanksgiving like tips and meals and stuff?
So I love Thanksgiving. It's like one of my favorite meals the whole entire year. Um, I think I've definitely seen my family's Thanksgiving dinner change over the years, especially since I've had bariatric surgery. And I think there's really great ways to cut out the overindulgence, but still feel like you're having an amazing Thanksgiving. So these are my tips. These are Rachel's Thanksgiving tips since I'm so important.
There we
So
go.
I would say one, let's cut out the frozen veggies. There's nothing wrong with frozen, but like I think it's so exciting to finally be with family during Thanksgiving, especially during all of this. So whether your gathering is small or big, like get those fresh green beans, sit with your fam, snap off those stringy ends, and make your green bean casserole a little lighter by like sauteing the green beans. And instead of using like that heavy cream of mushroom, just do a light sauteed green bean with the crispy onions on top. So maybe just omit the cream of mushroom altogether. Then, since I know I love stuffing, this is my go-to trick. You make stuffing how you always make it, however your fam makes it, and then you get a muffin tin. You spray the muffin tin with cooking spray, and you like portion out the stuffing into a muffin tin, and then you bake it, and it's like stuffing muffins. So then you have like this little perfect portion of stuffing, and you're not like over at the table and then you grab a bowl of stuffing, you're not like plopping in 6 heavy spoonfuls. Um, I also think making fresh cranberry sauce is awesome. Cranberries are so good for you, so high in antioxidants. And again, if you're having the fresh stuff, although canned is delicious, fresh is better. And then I think just enjoying yourself, but also just being conscious of when you're full. You don't need to get so full that you got to take a nap. Like you can have leftovers the next day. It's allowed.
It is allowed. I'm not gonna lie, I always stuff myself. I'm just like, I get the itis a lot. But actually, now, I'm probably still gonna do it though. I'm not gonna lie.
Everyone does it. It's Thanksgiving. Like it's okay.
It
But
is.
try to notice your hunger cues and
Yes,
your fullness cues.
I think that is actually that's even like a whole great topic in itself. Knowing your hunger cues and your fullness cues is fucking huge. Just to go back to what we were saying before about like the steps of like, knowing where you are, how many you eat, knowing what times you get hungry throughout the day typically, because eventually, no matter what you do, the more you do something, the more like the more you do something, the more repetition is the key to basically everything. So knowing what your schedule is like and when you typically feel hungry is so important, because at least that way you can kind of schedule your meals for if you're whatever what your goal is. So typically weight loss is what people are coming to see me for. So if you're trying to figure out like, okay, I usually hungry around 12:30, then I'm also hungry at 2:15, 2:17, whatever, and you make sure you eat around those times. As long as you put in what you are trying to if you make a choice about something, you can take the power out of it as opposed to having it be something that messes you up. So let's just say you're at work and I'm always hungry at 11:30. Instead of being like, all right, it's 11:30, I'm not gonna eat anything, I'm not gonna do anything at all, I can't eat anything, I'm on a diet, fuck this. What you can say, make a choice and empower yourself, pick to eat something at 11:30 instead, and just have it be whatever it is for the day, a Cliff Bar, a banana, whatever the fuck you want it to be. But having but taking that step of figuring out when you are hungry or need to eat, and then putting something in there for you to eat during that time will change your relationship psychologically with what you eat. Do you agree with
Yes.
that?
No, I do agree with that. And just going off what you said about how choosing to have that snack, it's also like telling yourself that food doesn't, like, food holds no power to you. Like, you're in control. So, like, whatever you put in your mouth, that food, like, going back to how food has no, like, morals, it also has no control over you. You control it. So, like, your snack that you're choosing because your body is telling you that you're hungry at 11:30, it's up to you to make that choice to really, like, okay, hunger cue, I'm going to get you a good snack and we're going to hold off until lunch. Like, I'm going to get you some trail mix with like those nuts and like pair it with a good fruit, and I'm going to feel good about this, instead of letting yourself be like, you know what, I'll just drive through Dunkin' and get like a bag of hash browns and munchkins or something.
Absolutely, because the putting taking action and putting the power in your hands, like you said, the bread's not going to be in jail. Like no one, the food police is not going to put the bread in jail. So taking the power out of the hands of, like I can't control my life. So you deciding I can control this. I'm hungry here. I'm going to feed myself here, and it's okay. Is all the first steps to having a healthy relationship with food itself. And then after changing that relationship to making it healthier with you mentally, there's the healthy eating per se is easier because you're not thinking, oh, I have to just do all this to change who I am,
Right.
to put it into like a school metaphor, if someone just said, okay, like wake up tomorrow, I'm trying to eat healthy, and you have to take an AP class on healthy regimented schedules and all types of crazy shit, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? And you would go nuts. As opposed to just being like, oh, all you have to do is see what you're doing already and try to fit into the slots you have open already. Like trying to find. I'm gonna try to tie it back in.
I think it's because, like, they say like about 98% of people who go on diets fail.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because they try to overhaul their life. But when you have to, that's why we asked Joe on the street, like, how do your meals make you feel to begin with? Like, nobody said you have to throw out everything in your fridge and your cabinets to live a healthy life. Like, we can adapt it to give you those healthy nutrients and those healthy meals without making yourself crazy saying that you now have to go buy cauliflower rice and live off of coconut oil. Like, we can take little steps.
We can. Yeah, that's a fucking gem. That's good. Some of the stuff I never even said before. So this is good. This is good thinking. So with what you do now with Sherry, I think it's cool that you ended up finding what you wanted to do based off what like happened to you or what you did. Um, because you now assist her with helping you're basically helping the future use the pet. You're helping the people that were like you now. Did I say that right?
So yeah, so right now I'm working under Sherry, just doing my dietetic internship. So like shadowing her, kind of just getting a feel for what it's like to be a bariatric dietitian. But I guess you could say that I'm helping mold future me's.
Because she is. I think that's a beautiful thing. Also, guys, for anyone who doesn't know who Sherry is, she's on the second episode of the Fitness Fundamentals podcast. The second one, just feel free to check the episode out again. Just shameless plug in the episode. Watch the old one. Sherry's great. Rachel's great too. Um, but yeah, I think that. But like, I think a lot of times just because there's so many with food fitness life, like the one thing that I really try to get people to understand that this shit's a fucking process, and like we're all kind of going through it. There is no end goal. You're just going to keep progressing over and over again, and the process of you becoming like from your surgery to getting a dietitian to like having that shape where you want to be in your career, I think it's just super important and super cool because there's so many people that are lost in like a lot of different ways. We're all lost in our own way. But as
Yeah.
far as like finding what you wanted to do out of what had happened to you, I think it's just like a fucking great fucking thing to be.
I think so the quote on my bedroom wall, because we're in my bedroom currently, it's happiness is not a destination, it's a way of life. And I like love that quote because your journey, your life is like what you make it. So you need to listen to yourself and like I don't want to like I when I talk to people, I tell them I don't want to live to work, or what's the saying? I don't want to
Live to work. Well, I don't want to work to live. Fuck.
yeah,
Live
no,
to
I
work.
don't want to live to yeah, I don't want to live to work. I want to work to
To
live.
live? Oh, I don't want to. I think that's it. I don't want to work to.
I don't know.
Well,
But
you get the gist.
you know, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Something like that. But I think the whole thing is that I just want to educate people and make people feel good. Like this whole fitness nutrition industry can seem so overwhelming. Like you can be scrolling through Instagram like having a great day, and all of a sudden you see these skinny girls and like these amazing muscular guys, and then now you're going down this like pathway with yourself like I'm not like that, I don't look like that, like now I feel like shit. So I really feel like it's so important to educate people that you have to first and foremost feel good about yourself and stop
Damn
comparing
right.
yourself to others, because everyone's journey is different. And like you said, just like the first time I came to you, could I do a push-up? No, I couldn't even plank for like 2 seconds. I was falling over. But when we would get to like week 2, I'm planking for like a minute. Maybe not, probably like 25 seconds. But
Still growth.
right, it's like you got to start small and build your blocks and build your knowledge. And that's why I say that diets don't work, because it's about longevity and how you're going to make it last. Like I know personally, I want to have kids, and whenever I do have kids, I want to show them how to eat healthy, but also how to enjoy a slice of pizza, because I love pizza. And that's
Absolutely.
important.
It is. It is. And if you don't like pizza, I don't know if I can trust you. Unless you're
Yeah.
allergic. I'm like, you like pizza? Like, what's going on in there? But Rach, for anybody that wants to find you or follow you or hear more about your story, how do they find and contact you?
So if you want to follow my new Instagram that I recently just launched, I'm trying to make it more professional. Hopefully one day going to have a cookbook published,
There we go.
maybe be on the Food Network. So
There
if
we
anyone's
go.
listening, get me on there. It's bites, period, of, period, health, underscore, by Rach. And then if you want to follow my personal Insta, it's ITS underscore Ray, RAYY.
Fuck yeah, guys. Give her a follow. If you guys are listening, put it on the show. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. Appreciate you so much, and take care.